What makes a man willingly step back from his thriving construction business to stand beside the woman he loves? When Jack learned that Tu Tien was carrying twins, his world shifted. The successful contractor faced a choice that would define their future together. Would ambition or love guide his path? Stay with us to witness a journey of sacrifice and devotion. The morning sun filtered through the window as Jack sat beside Tu Tien, holding the ultrasound images in trembling hands. 2 tiny heartbeats, 2 precious lives growing inside the woman who had already endured so much pain. His mind raced back to the day he first met her. Broken, homeless, cast out by the family that should have protected her. He had built her a home, helped her create a farm. But this was different. This was about building a future for 4 people now. Jack's construction company was thriving. 3 major projects demanded his attention. Clients called daily, and his team relied on his leadership. But as he watched Tu Tien's hand rest gently on her growing belly, he knew that no building, no contract, no amount of success could matter more than this moment. Twin pregnancies were demanding, often complicated. Tu Tien would need him in ways she never had before. That evening, Jack made his decision. He would restructure everything. His business had grown because of his dedication, but now that dedication needed to extend beyond concrete and steel. It needed to encompass the family he was creating with Tu Tien. He began drafting job descriptions that night, searching for experienced supervisors who could manage the projects while he focused on home. The hiring process took 3 weeks. Jack interviewed 15 candidates, carefully assessing their technical skills and reliability. He needed people he could trust completely, individuals who understood that quality and integrity were non-negotiable. Finally, he found 2 excellent supervisors, men with families of their own who understood why Jack needed to step back. He spent another 2 weeks training them, walking them through every project detail, introducing them to clients, ensuring smooth transitions. Mother Loy watched her son's transformation with pride. "You're doing the right thing," she told him one afternoon as they sat together. Tu Tien has suffered enough. She needs to know that this time she's not alone. Uncle Dung nodded in agreement, placing a weathered hand on Jack's shoulder. A man's true wealth isn't measured in buildings constructed, but in the love he gives to his family. As Jack delegated responsibilities, he felt an unexpected sense of freedom. Yes, he would still oversee major decisions, still guide the company's direction, but the daily demands would no longer consume him. He could be present for Tu Tien during these crucial months. He could ensure she felt safe, cherished, and supported through every step of this journey. Jack's alarm now rang at 5:30 each morning, but instead of rushing to construction sites, he headed to the kitchen. He had been studying nutrition for pregnant women carrying twins, learning which foods provided the best support for both mother and babies. Mornings began with ginger tea to ease Tu Tien's nausea, followed by protein-rich breakfasts, eggs from their own chickens, fresh vegetables from the garden, and wholesome grains. Tu Tien would wake to the gentle sounds of Jack moving through the kitchen, the aroma of cooking filling their small home. The first time she found him preparing an elaborate breakfast, tears filled her eyes. In her first marriage, she had been the one serving, always working, never receiving care. Now this gentle man anticipated her needs before she voiced them. "Jack, you don't have to do all this," she whispered. He simply smiled, kissing her forehead. "I want to. You're carrying our children. Let me take care of you." Throughout the day, Jack maintained a careful balance. His phone rang occasionally with work questions, but he handled them efficiently without letting them intrude on his time with Tu Tien. He prepared nutritious snacks every few hours, fresh fruit, nuts, yogurt, ensuring she had the energy her body needed. He researched recipes specifically beneficial for twin pregnancies, creating meals rich in iron, calcium, and folic acid. The garden became Jack's afternoon sanctuary. He expanded their vegetable beds, planting varieties that would mature in time for the twins' arrival. Leafy greens, tomatoes, carrots, herbs, everything organic, everything grown with love. Tu Tien would sometimes sit on the porch, watching him work. His hands, so skilled at commanding construction crews, now moved gently through the soil, nurturing life in a different way. Evenings were their special time. After dinner, Jack would guide Tu Tien to the comfortable chair he had built, placing pillows to support her back. He had learned massage techniques specifically for pregnant women, his strong hands carefully easing the tension in her swollen feet, her aching back, her tired shoulders. "You're getting bigger every day," he would say with wonder, his hand on her belly. "Our babies are growing strong." Then came the reading time. Jack had purchased books about child development, parenting twins, and children's stories. Each night, he would read aloud, his deep voice filling the room. Sometimes he read to Tu Tien, but mostly he read to the babies, wanting them to know their father's voice even before birth. He talked to them about the mountains surrounding their home, the garden waiting for their tiny hands, the family eager to welcome them. Tu Tien watched these tender moments with overwhelming gratitude. Jack was preparing the nursery himself, painting walls in soft colors, building cribs with the same precision he applied to his construction projects. He assembled changing tables, organized baby clothes that Mother Loy had lovingly sewn, and created a space filled with warmth and anticipation. On weekends, they would take gentle walks through their property. Jack held Tu Tien's hand, steadying her as they moved slowly through the garden paths. He pointed out where he planned to build a playground when the twins were older, where he envisioned a small pond, how he would expand the house as their family grew. These weren't just dreams. They were promises, blueprints for a future he was determined to create. Mother Loy and Uncle Dung visited regularly, bringing supplies and support. They would find Jack and Tu Tien working together, her sitting comfortably while directing, him following her wishes for the nursery arrangement, the garden layout, the home preparation. It was a partnership built on mutual respect and deep love. 6 weeks into Jack's new arrangement, challenges emerged. One of the major construction projects encountered unexpected soil complications. The foundation needed redesigning, and the client was anxious. Jack's new supervisor called, uncertainty evident in his voice. Jack's heart tightened. This was exactly what he had feared. But he refused to panic in front of Tu Tien. That afternoon, while Tu Tien napped, Jack stepped outside to handle the crisis. He video called the site, reviewed structural reports, and consulted with engineers. His expertise hadn't disappeared. He simply wielded it differently now. He guided his supervisor through the solution, approving a revised plan that actually improved the building's stability. The client, once informed of the proactive approach, expressed appreciation rather than concern. But Tu Tien was perceptive. She noticed the tension in Jack's shoulders that evening, the way his mind seemed elsewhere during dinner. "Jack," she said softly, taking his hand. "Talk to me. I know something's wrong at work." He tried to dismiss her concern, but she persisted. "We're partners now. You don't have to protect me from everything." Jack finally shared the day's challenges. Instead of worry, Tu Tien's eyes filled with understanding. "You've built something remarkable," she told him. "Not just buildings, but a team you can trust. Problems will come, but we'll face them together. I'm not fragile, Jack. I'm carrying our children, yes, but I'm also strong enough to support you when you need it." Her words released something in Jack's chest. He had been so focused on protecting her that he'd forgotten they were building a life together. Not him for her, but them for each other. That night, they talked honestly about balancing his business responsibilities with family needs. Tu Tien insisted he shouldn't completely abandon the work he loved, just maintain healthy boundaries. The next morning, Mother Loy and Uncle Dung arrived with a proposal. "We'll come 3 times a week," Mother Loy announced. "I'll help with cooking and housework. Uncle Dung can assist in the garden. You'll have time to check on your projects without worrying about Tu Tien being alone." Uncle Dung smiled warmly. Family takes care of family. With this support system, a new rhythm emerged. Jack dedicated mornings entirely to Tu Tien, preparing breakfast, ensuring her comfort, spending quality time together. Afternoons, he could make site visits or handle business matters while Mother Loy stayed with Tu Tien. Evenings returned to their sacred time together. The arrangement worked beautifully. His team adapted to the new structure. They learned to solve minor problems independently, consulting Jack only for major decisions. The business actually grew stronger, with empowered employees taking ownership of their roles. Jack discovered that stepping back hadn't weakened his company. It had matured it. Through it all, Tu Tien blossomed. The care and love surrounding her transformed not just her body, but her spirit. The woman who had once hidden her pain now glowed with confidence and joy. She laughed more freely, dreamed more boldly, trusted more deeply. Jack would watch her in the garden, one hand on her belly, the other reaching for vegetables, and feel profound gratitude for the path they were walking together. As the weeks passed and Tu Tien's belly grew rounder, Jack's conviction only strengthened. He had made the right choice. Buildings would always need constructing, projects would always demand attention, but these precious months with Tu Tien, watching their children grow, building their nest, deepening their bond, were irreplaceable. The garden flourished under Jack's care, rows of vegetables standing like promises of abundance. The nursery waited, ready to welcome 2 new lives. Mother Loy's handmade blankets lay folded in the cribs. Uncle Dung had carved wooden toys, his calloused hands creating treasures for children not yet born. Everything spoke of love, preparation, and hope. Tu Tien and Jack would sit together in the evenings, watching the sun set over the mountains, feeling their babies move inside her. They had traveled such different roads to reach this moment. Her path marked by suffering, his by steady purpose. But those roads had converged into something beautiful. Family wasn't just blood. It was choice, commitment, and daily acts of love. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Subscribe to follow Jack and Tu Tien as they prepare to welcome their twins. Watch how love transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. Their story continues, and you're invited to be part of it. See you in the next chapter.